Hello, everyone. Hi. Um, Hopefully it swaps. Oh, okay, it's working. Cool. Hi, everyone. Tonight is our conclusion of Rise of Rosie. It should say happily never after, but for some reason the title keeps switching the words after and never. It's been a weird night of like these minor technical issues, but we're good now. For now. Anywho, hi everyone, I'm Undead K. Before I get started with all of my intro stuff, let's go ahead and go around and meet our players of the evening for one final time. We are going to start with Tired By. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hi. Also, okay, is my volume good?
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, okay. Hi, I am a tired bye. Uh, I'm gonna be sad when the game ends, and once it ends, I'm going to go off and be sad, but it's fine. I've been playing Kevin Merlo, who I'm going to miss. He is just a great, sweet gay bean who never really got the whole encouraging people thing right. Though maybe he'll redeem himself tonight. I hope so. I'll be holding a candlelit vigil for him at the end of this session,
Oh,
like I do with all my OCs. Actually, that's a lie. Uh, you can find me over on uh, the Undead K's channel every second Thursday, where we play Curse of Stradborovian Days. There I play as a tired ASMR bard who isn't gonna get a candlelit vigil. She's not even gonna get a funeral.
oh, well then,
Me-
okay.
She's not, she because she's not dying anytime soon.
Oh, okay, that's acceptable.
Surprisingly, in Satari's will, it reads in big red letters, "Do not give me a funeral, you peasants." It's very weird. And also, even though it's on hiatus, I am part of a game with Rain over on the Bardic Nox channel called Final Fantasy Rebels of Spira, based off of the Final Fantasy D6 system. Hopefully, it's currently on a hiatus at the moment, but hopefully we'll be able to get back to that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing something.
No, I think that covers it.
I think that covers it.
All right. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and move over to Rain. Who are you? Who are you playing? Stuff and junk. Tell us about yourself.
I am Rain Hayes, and I am playing Dominic Gray, whose name I forgot for a moment, who, like most of my characters, can't be trusted with fire, apparently. um, you can find me when we come off of hiatus at the Bardic Nox channel, where like ATP said, I play Reno Boom, the Chaos Kitty,
Who
who
also can't be trusted with fire.
she can't be trusted with anything. We freaking stole a boat because of her.
I mean, we can trust her with Raiko.
No, because you won't let her be alone with Raiko. the only
I mean, we were on a boat and we were in the Fey March for like a year. Like we could have left you alone with Raiko for a bit. Then
I think
I
the
don't
only
know.
reason why she hasn't corrupted Raiko is because she's afraid of Tauntaun.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay, that's fair.
Shiny objects.
um, other than that, you can find my stuff on the Dungeon Masters Guild, where I at some point will try to get more up, but who knows?
All right, awesome. So our final player of the evening, Star. Who are you? Who are you playing? Where can we find you on the
Hello,
interwebs?
I am Star. I use she, they pronouns, and I will be playing Marguerite Delaney, the goth princess of Dusk. Um, and uh, they also use she, they pronouns. And you can find me on the internet at MadRadStarChild. I will be playing in a Cthulhu Dark Rules Light game called The Network on Monday. It's every other Monday at So Maddie Games with a Z. So I will be doing that this coming Monday. And you might have seen me on Monday, this past Monday, at Sleepaway, another horror game on this channel.
Ooh, that's exciting.
That's it. That's me.
Cool. Yeah, and like I briefly stated earlier, I am Undead K, also the Undead GM for the evening. I didn't know exactly what to put into the thing. Yeah, Undead GM for the evening, essentially. I have like cool little makeup stuff, but you can't tell because I'm reflecting my computer screen. This is my life.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, before I you can find me over on my own Twitter where sometimes I remember it exists and I post things, or I'll debate about posting a thing and then I'm like, I don't know if anybody would be interested in this weird, obscure, like, dude from history. Okay, no. So yeah, and I also do have my own Twitch channel, which I should be getting back into actual things very soon, but as of right now, it's just kind of been like a transition. First semester back at school in like over a decade. Yay. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much where you can find me. I do run a game that ATB as well as some other friends of ours are in every other Thursday. Curse of Strahd, Barovian Days. It's utter chaos. They avoid the plot like nobody's business, but that's fine. We're having a good time there. So with that out of the way, let me go ahead and really quickly just kind of talk about Nerds with Dice for a moment. Nerds with Dice has an absolutely wonderful community. You can actually join their Discord, where you can hang out with a bunch of lovely people like everyone here. And Nerds with Dice recently launched a merch channel, what? Website?
Merch channel.
I can't speak words. Yeah, a merch website where you can buy things like t-shirts and that sort of thing, and they're really neat. So definitely recommend checking that out. There is a link. I just posted it in the chat. And finally, Nerds with Dice is also an affiliate of the Grinding Coffee Company, and you can use the link provided to actually get 10% off of purchasing coffee there. And they are a Black and LGBT Q plus owned coffee company, so support your small businesses and check them out if you like coffee, which I have an unhealthy obsession with, so here we are. All right, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and really quickly just give a brief recap as to what happened last time. So last time, the group started, basically they got out, learned that they were just basically supposed to survive the night, whatever that meant, give the guests, the time of their lives, the time they'll never forget. And suddenly they heard screaming from all the way across the park, which is a very large park, so just goes to show that was probably really bad. And so they rush over to Steamtown on the opposite end of the park, where they encounter Princess Cinder. Princess Cinder asked to have Dominic, after Margarita had spoken with her for a few minutes, and was very quickly told no. And after stepping into the light, it was also discovered that her dress was stained in blood, And she just kind of went on her merry way, happy-go-lucky, having a good time, as Princess Cinder do. And as you sort of like went to go see what was going on, because you did notice like a bit of nasty stuff hanging off her shoe, you just kind of found some blood splatters here and there, but it was actually pretty completely empty, save for a talking head that was just on a plate in the little cafe area. And they essentially said that you needed to ride the ride in order to survive.
Ride to ride to save a life.
Yeah, yeah.
I forget how it went.
I'd have to look at it. My brain, I studied the Byzantine Empire like all day, other than preparing for this. So, yeah. It was like ride the ride to save your life or ride the ride to survive. Something like that. And
Ride to ride if you want to stay alive.
That's what it was. And so you all did just that. You got on the Crafty Kraken ride, a little thing, and it very quickly seemed to come to life, pulled your little gondola into its maw, and you found yourself in the Buccaneers of the Sky ride. You had to navigate and sort of figure out how to, get the ship working, while also encountering, tentacles from the Kraken itself, who seemed to have followed you down. The Kraken, while you did manage to hurt one of its tentacles, it did seem to like rise up out of the depths, and you fought it off long enough to for everybody to be able to get on the ship. Once the ship was prepared or repaired, and you started sailing off into the night, starting very quickly through the water and very kind of lifting into the sky. Though the sky is in its own contained thing, because this is like an indoor ride. So as you sort of lift into the sky, that's basically where we ended. And as you kind of ride for a few minutes, seems to take a bit longer. The skeletal crew seems less animatronic and more lifelike than what most of you are used to. And they just kind of like brush you off and ignore you, seeming to be like, they got a job to do, that sort of thing. And eventually you reach the top of the ride, and they basically just sort of, drop the gangplank and point for you to exit.
Bad that took me this long to realize what you meant by skeleton crew.
Yeah, I meant a literal skeleton crew. It's like I thought I was clever or something when I made that decision. I don't know.
Love it.
Well, Gray's gonna get the hell off this ride because it tried to eat him.
Yeah, I guess Kevin will make his way off the ride while I guess on his walkie-talkie he just quickly goes, if someone could notify the service department of a Kraken that might need of cleaning up near the Buccaneers ride, that would be great. Over.
You get static in response. But the ride does let you off right over here, and you do noticeably when you step off, you do notice that the ride that would normally be over here with all the tentacles and doodads is lacking. The tentacles are basically like kind of disappeared into the depths. Whether or not you've actually destroyed the thing or not is not entirely certain, but for now it's at least not a problem.
Kraken lacking.
Mm-hmm. Crafty Kraken didn't turn out to be so crafty after all.
Crafty Kraken had a calamity.
Yeah.
Gray, I can't believe we killed Crafty Kraken.
Well, we may not have killed him.
I don't think we killed it. We killed a tentacle and then ran away
I mean,
before it could eat us.
I also threw a Molotov in its mouth.
You did throw a
I'll-
Molotov in his mouth.
I also shot at it with a cannon.
And we were shooting at it with cannons too.
Yeah.
What we're saying is that it's probably fine.
All right. So you make your way off, and they just kind of, as you step off, the ship itself kind of just sinks back into the ground, which doesn't normally happen, but it's fine, totally fine. And yeah, so you're pretty much just left standing in Steamtown. Is there anything you do while there?
I want to take out my tablet and look at the database and see if there's like any hot activity, like if it shows if like a lot of people are congregating around a certain ride.
You don't see, like, normally it'll tell you like wait times and that sort of thing for the various rides, and while most of the rides are surprisingly empty. There's like one or two that has like 10, 15, 5. There's one that says like 3. But you remember that there were supposed to be over 300 people here. And while you don't get a ping for like guests, you do notice like these strange pings that you've never seen before kind of convalescing around the castle.
I'm gonna show that to my companions. I think something is up at the castle.
Is it something that we want to go to or avoid?
Well, I guess that really depends on outside forces, if anything pushes us in one direction or another.
Talking about like you're talking about like the powers that be or something, or like that new like weird fad going around of all hail the mythical DM. I've had like a dude like that lives across from me just spouting it all day long.
God.
It got annoying, and then he was dragged away somewhere.
A blue metacrab appears from like on top of the crystal in the fountain momentarily and just dives into the water. So
Such majesty.
Majestic.
So do you still have the tablet? Like, are you still got it like open to show?
Yeah, I
everyone,
was
right?
like kind of gathered them together and holding it up for all of us to look at.
After a few moments of staring, you notice that like one by one, you see like the 3 riders kind of disappear off the map. You see the 5 after a few more moments kind of disappear off the ride. You see the 10 disappear, and then the 15 finally disappear. And it seems that whatever this signal is around the castle has gotten a bit stronger. But for some reason it looks like most of the riders, there's like 1 or 2 groups remaining, but it seems that these various rides, people are just like disappearing in an instant.
It seems like the rides are getting increasingly more dangerous, and I would rather confront the source of all this. The wishing star is on the castle, so that seems to be, it is literally the center of the park, so it should maybe be the center of our attention for the rest of this evening.
Well, I will say that if we come across another axe-wielding vampire or Bloody Mary Cinder, I'm going to have issues.
Speaking of, Kay, can I roll anything to see if Cinder's like anywhere close?
Yeah. Let me.
Kevin like go out of his way to like look around, or like does it look like he's trying to do something
I'd say
special?
like it would be like a find something that wasn't there before.
Okay. So roll plus wise.
Mhm.
Just Kevin, just like at the mention of Cinder, just like panics for a moment. Is like, wait.
You do see the head. I will say everybody sees the head because the head just keeps babbling. It's saying the same thing it was, but
Oh.
okay.
No.
So you got an 8. So you can hold one. Meaning you can either ask one of the questions that's on the list, or you can hold on to that for a minute and ask that question later.
Is there something hidden around or secret around the area?
As you kind of scan, you don't see. You see a few things, like as if the shadows themselves are starting to move, sort of starting to like. The shadows are starting to warp and lengthen and all sort of head towards the center of the park. But you don't see Princess Cinder. You don't really see any other princesses. But you do see somebody. You kind of like walk over to the fountain and you're sort of like straining your neck towards the exit to see. And you actually see the back of someone with, short hair, kind of wearing the maintenance uniform that you're familiar with. They don't seem to have noticed you, but you've noticed them.
I think Kevin will just look over to Marguerite and Gray and just kind of gesture for them to follow him. And just like when they get close, it's like, I think I see somebody else from my department over there.
Gray's going to be sticking close to the group.
Would you like to interact with them? It's your coworker.
I mean, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Technically, I'm coworkers with them too, but we don't interact as regularly.
I mean,
there are cliques.
Not per se, but you tend to.
The princesses don't mingle with the grease monkeys.
You stay in your area. You're in your area all day, in costume all day on your feet, and they're, in the background doing their thing, behind the scenes heroes. We don't cross paths on a daily basis.
I mean, sometimes during like special like group events of like, oh hey, we got through a month of some of this thing, let's all get together, have beer and stuff. But yeah, anyway, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to talk to them, possibly.
For the record, this is a personal goal to make all of my GMs choke on something while we're playing.
I'm glad you caught that. I was like, oh no, why while I'm drinking?
But yeah, Kevin will go over to coworker and then like basically like when he's a bit close, just kind of shout like, hello?
So basically this person was kind of walking at like a swift pace, so I'd say you probably get like here. You're kind of following, and he had a head start on you, and you see him sort of like looking around, kind of rifling through things, and he doesn't notice you at first, but then it like registers, and he looks up. And would you describe to me, what does Gary Wood look like?
So Gary Wood, who is totally legally distinct from a character we'd all know from our 90s children cartoon shows, has short brown hair. He has like bright green eyes, and he kind of gives off the vibe of, I'm better than you. Do not even perceive I exist. Basically, imagine a douchebag.
I immediately take 3 pictures.
Yes. And also totally not legally distinct Gary Oak.
So, Gary Wood sort of turns and he looks at you, and I do apologize to those watching if there was like a momentary lapse in what you heard, because apparently my headset, this is just the night for like weird, random little things to happen. My headset turned off and then turned back on again. I don't know. That's
Strange
where we're
events
at.
happening in a horror game
I
just
know.
before Halloween.
The night before Halloween. This feels oddly appropriate. Yeah, so, Gary sort of, turns to you, and you, Kevin, would know that he's not supposed to be here. He's not supposed to be working tonight. He wasn't one of the ones who got selected. He started probably, about 6 months or so before you did? But he wasn't supposed to work. In fact, he was very mad to find out that you were working. And he was not. So he kind of turns to you and goes, "You!"
Aren't you supposed to be off tonight, dude?
Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You would really like that. I wanted to get selected, but no, it just had to be Kevin, because Kevin's just so great. Well, you know what? You're not so great. You want to know how I got in here? Ingenuity.
You seem stressed.
You climbed over the gate, didn't you?
No, I didn't climb through the gate. I hid in one of the closets.
Oh.
So you didn't even go home first?
No. And who are you?
How long has it been since you've eaten? I'm Gray.
Have you what?
How long has it been since
you've heard
you've
all
eaten?
of the screams of terror happening tonight?
Or the talking head?
He pauses for a moment and he said, "Huh. No, I've heard it. And I know what's going on here. It seems that you don't."
No.
Would you care to enlighten us?
Now, why would I help Kevin?
I don't know.
Well, see, the funny thing about being a college student with a camera is I have direct access to social media, which means that the people that run this park will know very soon that you're here. And I hold up my camera that I just took 3 pictures of him with.
I mean, that's a possibility.
Oh, no. But you see, it's funny that you mention that, because, see, Rosie doesn't make mistakes. The park doesn't make mistakes. I haven't been caught because I'm supposed to be here.
There's some very circular thinking.
Well, if that's the case, then perhaps we can work together, and then once we make it out tonight, Kevin and I can put in a good word for you so you can work next year for this event.
Oh, if everything goes well, there won't be a next year. Well, at least for most people. Probably not you 3.
You know what I find really, really interesting? And Gray very deliberately interrupted there. I find it interesting that the people in this park seem to come in 3 varieties. You have the people in the know who are supposed to be here and run things. You have the people who are supposed to be initiated in this grand thing, and then you have the people that are apparently supposed to be victims, I guess. And
sacrifices.
And you, what's interesting to me is that you're not initiated and you weren't picked. So which of those groups do you think you belong in?
She picked me because I was able to stay here. I'm going to find the entrance and I'm going to help. And then she'll see my value.
Yeah. I'm thinking you're in that third group.
Yeah, dude, listen. At this rate, I'm not even sure what's going on. Honestly, if I figured out like what I was getting into, I would have pushed more harder to be to the boss to be like, "Hey, maybe have someone more experience work tonight." But on the other hand, if you're too arrogant to accept help and want to go running off into places where there's krakens, vampire ladies, and bloodthirsty princesses, by all means.
It's also very strange to me that you would give up a day off.
Yeah, that too.
It's like a sticking point in the back of Gray's head. Who gives up a day off?
You could have done so much stuff today. That doesn't involve.
You could have done your laundry. Clearly you need it.
I keep my uniform nice and clean, thank you very much. And he sort of like snaps the suspenders.
You don't work for a living. Such an ass when he's up against someone like him.
It's almost like I wanted this character to not be likable. So he pauses and he sort of like rocks back and forth, like that. I'm wearing, I've got my suspenders, I'm rocking back and forth on my heels, and he's sort of looking the three of you over and he goes, well, I guess you did manage to make this far, so you really want to be in the know, huh?
Kinda.
Couldn't hurt.
Oh, I just had a thought that's terrible.
Only if you help me find the entrance to, well, the entrance to the entrance, I guess.
That's how entrances work.
Have you ever heard of the ride? Well, probably not. I'm the history buff here. But have you ever heard of the ride Castle Enigma Expedition?
Should we roll for that?
Have we heard of that?
Madame DM?
I don't know, but I bet I can get us there.
If you can think of like hey, what move would justify the knowledge, then I'd say go for it. I know, Dominic, you're immediately like, I have an idea.
Well, my idea is that Dominic's about to panic.
Oh,
Because I realized something as we were talking. Because Dominic was looking at the screen that you were showing with all of the dots stuff, right? And we saw the dots disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
His sister's one of those dots.
Oh. Oh no.
Yeah.
So Gray's going to have an epiphany moment and say, well, if it's related to the castle, that means it's by the castle, right?
Seems logical.
How very astute of you.
There's
Thank
no
you.
need to get
How very crass of
sassy.
you.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Yeah, did anybody want to see? I'm trying to think.
Would it be justified for me to know anything about it just because I know how to get there?
See, normally you would know how to. I would say the role to know how to get there would work, but this is a little different because it, to your knowledge, doesn't exist at least anymore. I'm trying to think of a. I guess if you all just want to roll plus wise, that's probably the easiest way to do this instead of trying to find like a specific move.
Yeah, I was also going to think of like trying to do Wish Upon a Star just because I've had an item that like is related to that I haven't used the entire time, but I might save that for later.
Yeah, I'd say you could probably do Wish Upon a Star if you
Oh.
want.
I got a 7.
Okay. Kevin, this is a little bit obscure, so you unfortunately do not. Did you, Dominic, want to roll? Roll plus wise.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
That's
Marguerite, I see that 7.
roll plus 2.
Okay, so Marguerite and Dominic, it takes you both a few minutes. Or, like, well, not a few minutes, that's kind of an exaggeration. Like, a few moments, you're, like, kind of parsing through your knowledge of Druid Dreamworld, history. And you remember a ride that had opened short. It wasn't really a ride, it was more of like a walking tour, similar to Buccaneers of the Sky, but this was more of just like a tour. People essentially wanted to tour the castle, but most of it was closed off. The vast majority of the castle is typically closed off to guests, save for like a restaurant. And then there's like a little suite where some people like spend ridiculous amount of money to stay. But at one point, shortly after the park first opened, because guests had wanted to see the ride, you remember hearing about this walkthrough called the Enigma Expedition opening, and essentially it would take people under the castle under the guise that they were going to tour the castle itself, but were very quickly persuaded. The tour guide would go with them. Basically, this face in a photo, like a painting, would start talking to the guests and kind of like tempt them and be like, oh, no, you're not giving the villains enough credit. And a door would open, and he would basically challenge the group to go into the dungeons of the castle. And it was a really spooky ride, probably scarier than most other things, but it's been closed for probably 20 to 25 years at this point. And for all intents and purposes, doesn't really exist anymore.
What I find ironic about that is that we're the ones remembering that when Kevin's the history buff among us.
I know. Poor
Yeah.
Kevin. It's a very obscure piece of Druid history, like Druid Dreamworld history. So a lot of people just don't, or they kind of miss it. Because again, this was like a ride from over 25 years ago.
So wait, you know about the ride, but you don't know where the entrance is?
I know where the entrance would be, but it's not there anymore. It was boarded up a couple of decades ago. Though I did hear some of those initiated folks say that there was something about the fountain that would open up the door. Like the true entrance, because rumor has it that it never fully... things kind of remained. And that's where she could potentially be found.
I mean, that would make sense if they couldn't move things out of this ride. Like, some things could have, like, a lot of things could have been taken out, but some remaining.
I mean, if it's an underground ride, it would be a little bit hard to completely demolish it, especially with the whole castle above it.
Yeah, would risk getting damage to the castle.
Well,
And no one wants to put damage to the castle. They'd get sued.
What is your goal for getting into this ride?
Apparently, if you find the entrance into this ride, you can find where Rosie hides.
That
And
doesn't
what
sound
do
at
you
all
want to
creepy.
do with Rosie?
Help her rise.
I see.
Now, a deal's a deal. You knew about it. Gonna help me find it, right?
A princess never breaks her promises.
Guess do, but I'm not going to.
Could you just
Do-
give us like a minute? Just a minute. We'll be right back. And I want to like pull everyone aside just so we can talk without
Like the
being.
huddle circle.
Yeah.
Just hear a
Okay.
bunch of whispering off to one side.
So as you kind of huddle, you do notice that there are some people who aren't really paying attention to you, but they are starting to like move towards the castle. And they seem to be like you see like just a kind of group that seems to be like dragging something, like bags of something. But they're not paying you any mind. They're busy. And you see Gary, like Gary just kind of is like, whatever, they're gonna do what they do, and he immediately starts like searching the fountain, looking around and all of that. And he's like, dang it, where is it? And he kicks it at one point, and yeah, so you're pulled up into a huddle.
Okay, so we promised this person to help find the entrance. I think it would be a good idea to go down there, but I think we should thwart every possible opportunity for Rosie to rise.
Whatever
Because that
that
sounds
might
like a bad
entail.
thing.
And
Generally, when something
honestly,
that's hidden rises, it's a bad thing.
at the moment, I think this would be the best place to possibly find Dominic, your sister, because it seems like people are going towards the castle. So
That is both my hope and my dread.
I mean, oh no, like, oh no, I honestly I feel like we're in over our heads, but at the same time, I don't exactly want to walk away from this place and just have something terrible happen. And also, as much as Gary annoys me, I don't want him to get like murderized or anything.
Honestly, at this point, I don't think that we are able to walk away. I'm pretty sure if we tried to leave, like the mists of Barovia would capture us or something.
A blue crab pokes out from behind one of the concession stands, churro in claw.
You know what? I think I would rather deal with anything that my D&D characters would deal with in Barovia than this. Because at least then I'm pretty good at rolling dice. Rolling dice is easier than taking out krakens. Let me tell you. But anyway,
Based on what happened with the Kraken, I'm not good at rolling dice.
also now it's canon that Kevin plays D&D in his spare time and has been in a Curse of Strahd campaign. Anyway.
So, okay.
I would like to propose we get into the dungeon and then find some way to. It's Gary, right? I'm gonna look at Kevin like, I forgot the name already.
It's fine. His grandmother also forgets his name. It is Gary.
Okay. We lose Gary. I mean, it's an underground dungeon. It's probably gonna be easy to lose it.
We could like put him in a cell. It's fine. He'll have like cell moss to sustain him for a bit.
I mean, he was in a closet all day, so I'm sure like one night locked away is not going to be the end of the world.
I mean, I apologize for interrupting, but I mean, just for a bit of humor, I've survived being in the closet. And I turned
Y'all.
out fine. Anyway, continue.
Worst comes to worst, most things die with fire, and I have a lighter, so. I might not be able to be trusted with the lighter.
Have there been any sightings of Ruby Rabbit, Gilbert Goose, or Casey this evening?
You've seen some costumed characters. But no, you've not seen like actual or like
The main ones.
lifelike. You know, it's not been like the rides where the animatronics have seemed to like kind of come to life.
Okay.
Just a couple of people who were like costume characters working, you know. Gilbert with his little top hat and yeah.
Also, do you know, does Gary like carry anything dangerous on him? Like, I know I have my taser, so I don't know. Is there like a pocket knife we need to be worried about in case he like turns on us?
Would I know any of that, Kay?
I'm just gonna like turn and smile and like look over him and also look like actually put eyes on his person to see if I see anything dangerous.
You would know that he is one to like carry a few tools on him. One in particular being like a box cutter for like in case he has to like strip wires and that sort of thing. He has like a big wrench. A few other things. But mostly just tools.
I know he carries tools around. Those can be used as weapons.
Okay.
Well, what are the prop weapons made out of?
Like a hard foam with like metal, like a metallic core, so they're pretty sturdy. And yeah. Now the ones that you got on the pirate ride, seem to be a little bit more higher quality. Like, you know, like the metal core is a bit thicker, where the foam is like a little bit lighter because you know it's supposed to be a genuine prop, whereas the axe that Kevin had bought at the gift shop from the Haunted Palace ride
It was meant for kids.
Yeah, meant for kids. Like it's sturdy, but you know, if you whack somebody in the head with it, it's gonna not really hurt that much. But like if you swing these weapons that you grab from the Buccaneers ride, it'll probably do, you know, a little bit of damage. Bonk somebody on the
I bet if we take the foam off, it'll take more damage.
I mean, Kevin has like a move he can use to try to make them do more damage.
You
true.
do have a move if you want to modify anything.
If people want Kevin to just go to a corner and be like, okay, modify these weapons. Please don't break them.
Works for me.
Yeah, so is that what you want to do?
You know what? Sure. Kevin will just mention, by the way, I could like try to see if I can do anything with like the weapons we got to make them a bit more helpful, and you guys can help Gary with like the fountain before he like tries to stick his head in the water, or like try to see like maybe if he got any ulterior motives or anything. If you want, though.
I think we can do that.
Okay.
We're probably going to need these weapons sooner rather than later.
Okay then.
The way tonight's going, I mean, I've already had an axe go by my head.
Axe go by, you got yeeted by a kraken. It's fine.
I love that despite the fact that he was physically picked up by a creature that shouldn't exist, he's still more scared of the normal woman wielding an axe.
I love it.
Hmm.
Oh goodness. Okay. So is that your game plan? The two of you are gonna go help, and
Yeah,
Kevin's
Gray's gonna wander over, like casually taking pictures of the fountain, and Gary.
I want to try to help Gray in this search using paint with the colors of the wind.
do it.
So I'll say, um, magic is believing in yourself. If you can make that happen, you can make anything happen. And you'll definitely find this thing. So that's,
Hmm.
That's your roll plus wise, I believe.
yeah,
For paint with colors.
11.
That's an 11.
So gain experience and +1 forward to this roll.
Yeah, and for the sake of this game in particular, I would say that Marguerite also gains experience. If
Okay.
you want.
And then while Gary's distracted, I want to see if I can take a little snack and snag his tools while he's busy searching.
Okay. So yeah.
You're interrogating and disarming our only ally in the park.
Well, I would say it's a tentative alliance because he seems a little creepy.
Hmm.
Okay. So do you want to roll that now, or do you want to see how Dominic does with?
I'll
looking?
let him roll first.
Okay. So for that, I would say that would be a find something that wasn't there before, unless you've got something else that from your move books that you can justify.
Well, actually, we are looking for the entrance and we know that it's associated with a fountain, right?
Yes.
So I wonder if that would cause my second start of the right move to work.
Hmm.
This way.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? I'll let you use it.
Oh, and if I roll good on this, I'm gonna keep one.
Okay.
um,
And
that is plus wise.
forget, you get a +1 forward on that as well. From Paint with Colors of the Wind.
Ooh,
Did you add your +1?
I did.
Okay. I mean, that's still a 9. So it still works. You just get the one question
Yeah.
instead of 2.
In that case, what is the quickest way to get to the destination? That being the entrance.
Okay, so as you kind of parse through and you're going through, you're looking, and you've noticed that Gary has been like examining the stones in particular, but none of the stones seem to be out of place. However, towards the center, like at the base of the fountain, where the main portion of the water, you know how it kind of like trickles down, the one at the very top is a slightly like 2 or 3 shades lighter. You know, it's barely noticeable, but you do happen to notice that it's 2 or 3 shades lighter. And when you kind of move up to examine it, you notice what looks to be like a seam, like it could potentially be twisted.
I'm going to do something that it's going to involve a move for me, but I'm hoping that it also helps Marguerite with what they're going to do. So I'm going to take a picture of that, and I'm going to move over to Gary and start showing him the pictures I've been taking of the fountain, and leave that one for last. And while I'm kind of just showing him all the things that I've been gaining, I'm going to ask him, so why exactly do you want Rosie to rise? And I want to dig a little deeper. I want to watch his reaction.
Oh.
Okay, so we're gonna pause that for just a moment. That scene. I want to jump over to Kevin for just a second. Kevin, while all this is going on, you're modifying the weapons. Now, did everybody hand Kevin one of their faux weapons, or?
I did.
Yeah, I would have given Kevin my axe, but kept my taser.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So, should I roll one Make a Bare Necessities for this, or should I roll like 3 for independent things?
Is it bad? I kind of want you to roll 3.
No, I was thinking 3, but at the same time, I didn't know if you wanted to do like one for the sake of time.
I mean, it would take you like 2 seconds. Just roll it back to back. You can just copy and paste the macro before you hit
Okay.
enter, and then just Control V it.
Yeah. Oh. So I'm gonna say first one was Kevin. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
No.
Oh no.
Hey, that's three experience, right?
It is 3 experience, so that's a plus.
Oh.
So if you're getting close to the 5, you can always pick a bonus item. Or how badly do you want at least one of these to work? Because there's something that can help you.
I want it to work so badly.
Okay, so the Wish Upon a Star move will also allow you to re-roll a die roll that you just made. So, you would add a twinkle, but you could potentially do 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. There is also in Kevin's little pocket, he has a lucky coin as well.
You do have a lucky coin.
Where if he flips it and it lands on heads, it will negate a twinkle. Yeah. So, I guess first Kevin will wish upon a star to re-roll a dice and
okay. So go ahead and give me that re-roll.
Okay. So it would just be the 1d6?
No, it's re-roll a die roll that you just made. Die roll is in plural. Well, yeah. So basically like a roll. Okay. So whose weapon would that be? Having the time to do his first, or?
Oh. Rain and Star, which one of you would like really want to have a weapon? Because I feel bad and I don't want to like ruin all of the weapons and be like Kevin's gonna take like the best weapon.
I'm wondering which, because I don't have a weapon, but I can probably. I get the feeling that if I lit something on fire, it would quickly become a weapon.
Yeah. Well, and Marguerite also has a taser, so.
Yeah, I have my taser, so.
Up to you.
But does Kevin have a weapon?
Not anymore.
Yeah, well, then make it Kevin's. That's fine.
Because you had the Fomax and you had the halberd.
Yeah. I was gonna have him try to upgrade the halberd.
Okay, so you still have the Fomax.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, you could roll for that too, can't you?
You could roll for that as well. That one, like I said, is more of like a plushy thing, though. So it would basically be moving it from like, you know, maybe like a shock to a harm or something. If you wanted to.
Yeah.
I would say use it on the halberd.
You sure?
I'm fine with that. I mean.
Yeah, and I am literally the kind of player that just invents shit as I go along.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't help myself. So eventually I'm going to have a weapon one way or another.
I have 2 ways I can do damage, because I can do fill the world with sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
And I can probably cause trauma just by talking.
So, okay, I guess if that's the case, since it's a 10, I'm going to add 2, a plus, well, since it's like choose an additional +1 harm, I assume it's like, can add like 2 things?
Yeah, so let me take a look here. That's your bare necessity. Yeah, so you, for a 7 and 9, you can add either +1 armor, +1 ward, shock, harm. And now keep in mind, this already does do 1 harm.
Mm-hmm.
But on a 10 and plus, it can do 2.
Hmm. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add another +1 harm, and I'm also gonna add +1 armor. How that works? That's for Kevin to know, and
I know how it would work if you want me to.
sure.
Okay, so you peel like the foam off of the halberd after like struggling to get it off. You just like work, darn you, and you finally manage to peel the foam, kind of revealing like the metal underneath, and you're very quickly able to sharpen the end to like an actual pointy. And you notice the foam underneath, and you basically like craft these little makeshift arm bracers with some duct tape that you pull out of your pocket, and you just really, really quickly wrap it around.
Aw, I like that. And I guess since Roll20 doesn't really have a coin option,
I was gonna
do
say.
you mind?
I was gonna say, if you want to roll a d6 and declare odd or even to be heads.
Oh, okay. I'll say even will be heads.
Okay, roll me that d6. You
That
take
is
one
odd.
twinkle.
Get one twinkle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, after a while, you guys kind of hear Kevin go, "Well, good news. I sharpened the halberd good. Bad news. Didn't do well on the other things."
You look, and you see, each of you kind of look back, and you see, one where the foam has seemingly like gotten stuck, and it just like can't be moved. And it's kind of like warped the metal, as if the metal underneath it gotten warped, and the other has like broken in half, and like half of it's just kind of like dangling. But before we dive back in, we're gonna like rewind the clock a little bit, because we're gonna jump back over. You were trying to keep him, Gary, distracted, so that Marguerite could try to pilfer pockets. So for you, Dominic, I would say, was there a specific role you wanted to make, or do you just want to do like a help a friend, help a friend?
Well, because I was trying to accomplish 2 things.
Right. You wanted to dig a little deeper.
So if it's, would I be able to make 2 rolls, or is that too much?
Let's stick with the dig a little deeper, and I will go ahead and say that I'll just be nice for expedience sake, that it's enough to keep him distracted, because he's kind of everywhere.
And I'm zeroing him on into like a single image.
Yeah.
So dig a little deeper is plus wisdom, and because I'm using art, I can do the +3.
Mm-hmm.
I am in the right chat, right? Yep. Okay. Oh no! I would like to re-roll that.
All right, give me a re-roll, and
I will wish upon a star.
All right.
And I'll take the twinkle for that, because I have an idea for the other thing.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, I was about to offer, like, could shout to like Kevin for support to do Wish a Dream.
What the hell?
Oh my gosh.
Oh no!
Double 6.
Hey, that's 2 more experience.
Yeah, that's 2 experience.
Better now than like at the boss fight too.
Okay. So I know exactly how this will go down. Okay. So you're questioning, and you're like, you were asking specifically, like, why are you wanting to help, correct?
Mm-hmm. Why do you want Rosie to rise?
He kind of looks over, pauses for a moment, and goes, you know, I don't really think that's for you to know. But I'll be nice. I'll be nice, and I'll tell you, this world kind of disgusting, and I think that something needs to change. And I think Rosie can make the world a lot better and a lot more interesting. Though I have a question for you. What is it that you're trying to distract me from, huh? And I'll say for this, just because it's a terrible reaction, if this is too much, just yell at me and be like, no, this is not cool. But I was thinking that instead of a +1 forward, we're going to act as if it's kind of inadvertently done the stick it to a friend.
Oh no.
So you can roll, Marguerite, but he's kind of like weary, like that I'm on to you sort of a thing. So I'd say it would be a -1 forward.
Okay, so it's just 2d6.
Yeah, if that's okay with you. I don't want to like.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Oh.
Oh,
I am
God.
unable to take it and also noticed. This is like
I'm going to
all of the
refrain from
failed
showing the
rolls.
last picture.
Oh.
Okay. So you start to kind of like pilfer, and at first he doesn't notice, but when you hear the question of being asked of Dominic, he kind of notices, you kind of like accidentally brush against, because you're like, oh no, he's on to me, and so you kind of like brush against the inside and kind of like hit his body with your knuckles, and he looks down and he goes, hey, what's the big idea, huh? And he smacks your hand. Get out of there!
I was trying to leave a coin in there for you to wish on the fountain. It was a surprise.
It was a surprise. You're both being awful suspicious. And I'll say that's when Kevin's like, hey, I did a thing!
Hey guys, look at this halberd.
Somewhere in the back of my head, we're acting suspicious in a murderous park.
So she made a weapon, huh? And you were gonna. What were you gonna do? What were you gonna do, huh? Huh? Kevin? Were you
Did
gonna
you want
follow
it-
me?
Did you want to find the entrance or not?
Yeah, of course I wanted to follow the entrance. But you are all making weapons and sticking things in my pocket and taking.
Do you know how many
pictures.
times I've
protect
almost been
ourselves.
stabbed tonight?
It's for protection's sake.
It's
It's a
for
dangerous world. You just said that.
it's in case if we go down there and there is, like, I don't know, a more taller vampire lady with claws.
I would like one of you three to roll, charm a heart into deciding, to basically try to persuade him that you are on his side, essentially.
I
I
think
could
that's plus
definitely
sweet.
try that.
Yeah, it's plus sweet. So whoever wants to roll that.
Oh.
Wow! So
Oh.
many fails tonight. Oh my
We
god.
are doomed.
Oh, I got a PC gets +1 experience if they decide not to do it. Oh, never mind. I don't get the experience. Got excited.
Yeah.
No, you get
that's-
experience if you fail.
You do get
Oh,
an experience
yay!
because you failed.
Does that mean I get to choose a new move?
Yeah.
You have
Probably.
5?
Yeah. If you have 5, you can choose a new move.
Yeah.
So feel free to look through the book.
We're probably gonna need it.
Yeah. So as you're just like, hey, buddy, I'm on your side. We're just trying to protect ourselves. You notice that Gary Wood is getting his name though. Is getting just increasingly suspicious, and he goes, no. I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna go down there, and you're either going to do one of two things. You're either going to. Actually, it's you, Kevin, you! You're gonna try to take what's rightfully mine. You're gonna try to impress Rosie instead. But you know what? I'm not gonna let that happen. And he pulls out a wrench and he flings it in your direction. I gotta roll something real fast.
Just what I was trying to avoid.
Oh no. Okay. Okay. So he flings it towards your head. And it clocks you right in the center of the forehead. So go ahead and take me 1 harm.
Mm-hmm. Does armor negate that?
Armor would negate that. You do have
Bring your
armor,
hands
so
up
you
and
could
try.
like bring your arms up to negate that.
Just moves it. Just moves arms.
Gray just under his breath on like Wonder Woman.
And I would also say that move, like him, just like the sudden ferocity of it, it takes you off guard, and you're like, oh snap, this guy's gonna like mess me up. So give me 1 shock for fear of Gary.
Can I drop kick him in the fountain?
So do I put that in severe of just like fear of Gary?
That would be
Or is that
harm
in
goes
trauma?
serious. So that's gonna be your shock. So shock goes serious, severe, and critical. So trauma 1 would be serious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shock is trauma. So just like afraid of Gary would work, or just like Gary gonna mess me up tonight. I don't know. Whatever you want to put it. You are afraid of him because he has given you that I will kill you look. And it's freaking you out. Like, he just threw a wrench at your head. That could have done some bad. But, Dominic, you said you want to try to kick him in the fountain?
Specifically into the fountain, yeah. I don't know how, but
Are you trying to, like, inflict harm?
I'm trying to get him in the water so that Marguerite can tase it.
Oh. Oh.
For that, we're gonna treat it as sort of like a break some famers. Or, you know, akin to it. You're not trying to physically cause harm, but we can say that you inflict harm or shock or whatever for the sake of this. If you want to do like a shock to where he's just like, what the hell?
Sure.
Give me that roll plus wicked. What the?
What happened? Oh,
Roll20 does not want us to succeed. Roll20 wants to turn Gary into the actual final boss and just forego any interaction with Rosie.
Oh, it looks like I'm looking for a new move too.
Roll20 has
experience and get another move.
Roll20 went fine. You want Gary motherfucking Oak? You get Gary motherfucking Oak.
I mean, you have an option if you want to try to re-roll. How badly do you want this to work?
I don't know, because that one move that I have, I had a very specific purpose for.
You could always ask Kevin for help, and he could do Wish a Dream.
He could.
What's that one again?
When someone's trying to use the Wish Upon a Star move, touch the person or hold their hand to get a blessing from the power of the park.
Okay, let's try that.
All right.
Because Gary is the immediate threat.
Yeah.
Gary is the actual BBG. BBG. Forget Rosie.
Yeah, basically, as Dominic
We're not
is
even
looking
at the
up
ride yet.
No.
as Dominic is looking up at the sky, Kevin just kind of also looks between the two and the star and Dominic, and is like, please, whatever you're trying to do, make it work.
Okay. So, you run over, you sort of like grab hand, and give me I believe yours is a roll plus twinkle?
Yes. So hey, it's good that I got that twinkle earlier.
Yeah. Alright, let's see what roll 20's got. What the? Okay.
Our
So
friendship has failed us.
The
That is
power
You
really
get a
okay.
twinkle, and so do I.
What is up with roll 20 tonight? Okay, you
That
both
puts
get
me at
one
3
twinkle.
twinkle.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
That's
All
10
right.
failures in a row, by the way.
Yeah, I don't. That's. I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna refresh. Maybe. Here. Maybe we can reset it by rolling a D1000.
I rolled a D100. You rolled D1000, K.
We're gonna. Whoa! No.
Roll 20. Why?
Well, we'll see what happens. So you both get a twinkle, and I'm going to say that as you try, Dominic, to push him into the fountain, there's a little bit of water on the ground, and you watch as the shadows just sort of twist and sort of like the two of you, Marguerite and Kevin, both sort of watch as the shadows sort of like twist from gathering towards the castle. One sort of reaches back, and you see like a hand just pull. So to you, Dominic, it seems that you've slipped on some water, but to the two of y'all, you've seen like a hand pull him down, and you watch as Dominic kind of falls, and he like cracks the forehead against the side of the fountain, and that's going to be one injury to you, but your twinkle will reset. You no longer owe the park a debt.
Yay!
But you do have one harm as a result. So, yay. This is going wonderfully tonight. Good God, I think the game is like, no, Gary's the BB.
Also, I decided to choose Be Brave Enough to See Your Fate as my move.
Cool.
After you fail a move using Stout, you can try the same move again using Brave.
Neat.
So I basically got a free reroll.
Nice.
Yeah, if you use Stout, yeah. That's pretty neat.
What's pretty fun against that? So would you say it was the shadows that caused me harm or Gary?
I'd say it's the shadows, but to you, like in your mind, you just like slipped on some water that had spilled out of the fountain and like knocked your head, like lost your footing as you tried to shove him in the water, and so you kind of like fell forward and knocked your head. So just like head injury, you knocked your head.
So what I can do for my personality move is I can roll plus brave versus a danger that causes harm or shock.
Yeah.
And that'll give me something that I can bring forward.
Give us that roll.
What is my brave?
Your brave is
Plus
a
one.
+1. Yeah.
I want to see your baby.
Oh,
Okay,
That's-
you got an 8, so you do get a +1 forward on any move against Gary now.
Yay!
So Kevin, you would have a -1, I believe, is how shock would work.
Okay.
Against Gary. However, Dominic, you get a +1 against Gary. Marguerite, is there anything you want to do? Like, you've just watched like all this chaos unfold.
After seeing like literal shadows pop out of the puddle, I'm just gonna like, you know what? If the park is gonna try to be against us, I'm gonna try to get it to be with us, and I want to try to fill the world with sunshine and get this magic on our side. Okay.
All right, so you get one of those effects.
I would like to oh, can I what would be best? We're trying to harm him. So I'm going to say I'll use magical energy to blast from my fingertips and do +1 harm against Gary.
Okay.
And try to aim it so that he does still fall towards the fountain.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna be nice in this one, just because roll 20 was doing y'all dirty. Let me roll something to see how he reacts real fast. I want to see if he can hold his own.
For some reason, I thought you said hold his bones, and I was like, what?
Okay. So it seems that Gary was all too aware of the park effects as well, and he did try to like turn it against you back, but what it seems he's tried to take advantage of the park a few times. So you blast him, and you actually watch as another shadow kind of reaches from around the fountain, pulling him back and knocking his head against. So I'm going to say that'll do 2 harm. And he's knocked out. He's unconscious. He's alive, but he just got like, blow to the chest, blow to the head. That's a lot right back to back. And he's knocked out and kind of like, legs sticking out of the fountain, head dizzy, all that jazz. So, yeah.
Cool. I'm going to look up at the star and say, see, thank you. We're on the same team, I think. And I want to pull Gary out of the fountain so he doesn't drown while he's unconscious, and put him over near the head, because that seems to be where the injured people want to hang out.
It takes you a few minutes, but
the head now has a friend.
And you're just like, you got Gary, who's like, the anime swirling eyes, seeing stars thing. You've got the talking head, who's just blabbing, blah 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 blah. So you're dealing with that. Now, Dominic, Kevin, you're at the fountain.
You doing all right, Dominic?
Slipped.
Yeah, I saw that. You're not like also critically injured, are you?
I stand up. Like, if I am, then it's. I mean, I can move, I can run, and I can kind of think, so we should be fine.
Okay, that's good. So
I'm gonna climb up and push on that bare spot I saw.
wait, why are you Meanwhile, Kevin's just there like, wait, why are you doing Gray, Dominic, Gray.
Immediately gonna climb on something after suffering concussion.
Dominic, no. Dominic.
It's only a mild head wound.
Dominic, you are not the Black Knight.
It looks worse than it actually is. Head wounds always bleed like that.
Yeah, they really do.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're able to unscrew it, and you watch as the fountain totally cheesy, like, slides out of the way, and you see a staircase leading into darkness.
Guys, I found the Chamber of Secrets.
Marguerite just makes her way back, like, applying makeup.
Or was
Did you
that the
say
wrong
that?
brand?
Did you say that in character, by the way?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Ken just looks at you and just goes like, shh, you don't want to get sued by her. And he just his face just darkens, his smile goes away.
The anime half your face is shadow now.
As we watch, like, Kevin momentarily, like, eyes gleaming. Really, Cat? Sorry, I just heard my cat knock over the trash can. He's afraid, too. You watch as, like, Kevin kind of turns to the camera. Marguerite's, like, walking back, applying makeup, like, hey, what's up? And then you hear you watch as the fountain slides. And I think that's a good place for us to go ahead and take a probably maybe 10-minute break or so. Since we are at the halfway point. Gary ended up being a bit more of a problem than I anticipated, but that's fine. Roll 20 said no.
Isn't Gary always a problem in our lives
I know.
that we just need to get rid of?
Oh, goodness. All right, so everybody, we will be back in about 10 minutes or so with the conclusion of Rise of Rosie. Happily never after, despite the thing saying happily after never. It's never after, not
Happy after
never.
never after happy.
Yeah, pretty much. So we will be back in about 10. Bye. Or burb? Bye. return to finish our rousing round of Rise of Rosie. Haha, alliteration, it's fun. Um, so when last we left off, there was a bit more of a difficult encounter than among Gary Wood, who was going to be a tentative ally, sort of. But you all were like, we don't trust this guy, and things happened, and Gary did not want to go down. But he got knocked out between a combination of magic shenanigans from our resident goth princess and the shadows of the park saying no. You've abused our powers, so we're gonna do a thing. So he was knocked out from a combination, like very quick succession of that. Dominic very quickly unscrewed the fountain, which did the cheesy like fountain move, and it opened up a pathway that basically is just a long dark descent of stairs.
I will begin the long, dark descent of stairs.
Kevin looks like a little bit shaken after that, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna like take him aside for a second, like, hey, are you okay, bud? Like, that looks like that kind of spooked you a little.
I always thought that Gary was a bit of an ass, like, especially since like he mentioned like, yeah, he worked 6 months before, like longer than I did, and yet I was chosen. He kind of got pissed. I tried to talk to the boss about it, but they were very insistent on, no, you need to work tonight, Kevin. But yeah, I never expected him to do that. Yeah.
Well, sometimes the magic quotes and the princess positivity seem a little shallow to me, but this is going to end okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to go into this together. And I believe in you. And I want to bid Kevin's cares goodbye.
Alrighty. So that's going to be a plus sweet or a plus pal. I do believe you have a +3 pal to Kevin if you want to use that.
Yep. Oh no.
Oh no.
If Kevin wants, Kevin can choose to take an additional shock for +1 experience.
Oh no.
Or
Meanwhile-
Kevin, you have a thing too, don't you?
Wait, do I? Do I have a thing?
I would say that Find the Beauty from Within could potentially be used to allow another player character to potentially reroll.
Sure.
Give me that roll plus sweet.
Roll plus sweet.
Let's see what Roll20 has to say to you all tonight.
Oh,
That's a 9. So you can create the okay.
can you make but something else will happen.
Yeah, so you can choose to give I for the sake of this game, I would say that you could potentially like allow Marguerite to use that reroll. But there could be an unintended consequence or something. Or delay or too much attention or something.
Meanwhile, you hear a voice deep down, guys, it's really dark down here.
Oh,
Don't you have a lighter?
It's green, it doesn't shed much light.
oh, I'm torn on
Oh, even better. Flick. Oh,
I
that
mean,
made
you've
it
rolled
worse.
it. You've rolled it, so
Yeah.
it does need to.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it needs. So yeah, I'll take the unintended consequence.
Okay.
And then I re-roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Negate 1 harm. Unintended consequence. Gain 1 harm.
That's a
Okay.
7.
So on a 7, I can restore up to -1 shock. So take your shock away.
Yay.
Okay. So. Okay, I know what's gonna happen. So you do that, and you both hear Dominic. So you both start to head down. Gavin, you start to feel a bit better. But as you go down the stairs, you both sort of like have this sinking like feeling that somebody's watching you, and you look back, and you see as Princess Cinder, in her blood-stained ball gown, sort of looks and she goes, "Ooh, now won't that be fun for you? Ta-ta!" And she reaches up and twists the fountain, and you watch as the fountain closes behind you. So now you're both like, everybody's like in advanced darkness.
And we don't have dark vision.
No.
We have green light, which is not great to see by in darkness.
Yeah, and these stairs feel long, so I mean,
Is
just
there
one-
rails?
Yeah, I mean, there's a rail. It's just
Okay.
you can't see anything now, so you'll just have to like feel your way.
Okay.
Do we still have the axe that got the stuff stuck on it?
The axe that got the stuff stuck on it.
Like the foam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you'd thrown it away.
Is the cross piece, or like sorry, not the cross piece, the handle, because axes don't have cross pieces, like metal?
It is metal, but there's like a bunch of foam towards the top.
Okay. I want to light the foam on fire to make a torch.
Oh.
Okay. I'll say like you have to hold it for like a little bit, and some of it like melts away, and you feel like it sort of drip and hit the floor.
It's making me dizzy, but it's gonna work.
Eventually, it works. There's just some like unpleasant foamy fumes, but it does work. So you've got like a torch of glowing green light, and the fumes are kind of giving you a bit of a headache, but again, it works. So
I recognize that in real life, not only would this not work, but I would be passed out by now.
No.
I can't believe my terrible DIY job gave us a torch.
Yeah, and I would say like depending on how like it's not going to be viable for super long. Eventually it will burn.
It might get us towards some place where we can find better light.
Yeah, so you
Are
kind
there?
of
I'll look for light switches as we go along.
you kind of feel along the wall, and unfortunately there are no light switches. But eventually you all make it to the bottom of the stairs and find yourselves in an opening. Over here.
Oh.
And there's not a lot of light, but there's some light from the glowing crystals.
Oop.
There's there's some light. There's a bunch of pools of water and stuff too. And I would say probably by the time you make it down the stairs, Dominic, is when you're like, oh, this metal heats up. Ow!
Oh.
Bugger,
Ow.
and just throw it.
You
Oh.
watch as it gets thrown into the water and like kind of sizzles. And yeah. So you find yourselves in this like defunct walkthrough of the Castle Enigma expedition. And would anybody like to try to roll something to figure out where to go, what to do?
I feel
will
like
try
Dominic's
to roll to find
Dominic's
my way.
move
Yeah.
makes sense here.
As soon as I get my token out.
Yeah, I mean the token's not. We're kind of gonna glaze over this one pretty quickly, but yeah.
Do.
And I'm just gonna turn to
Mm.
him and be like, hold the vision, trust the process, and I will paint with the colors of the wind.
All right, give me that roll.
Mhm.
That's a 10.
Plus 1
Yay!
forward, plus 1 experience.
All
Our
right.
rolls are
So-
improving slowly but surely. We had to get all the bad rolls out on Gary.
So that gives me
Oh.
1.
Mhm. So you got a 10?
No, because I added the +1 onto the
Yeah.
roll.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what's your question?
There's 2, and I need to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
What is the path of least resistance?
Okay. So you notice that that it kind of veers here. And you're assuming that like the park guests would have like gone through this area here. And kind of like it wound through some corridors and what have you. And that the end would probably be in this direction based off of like an initial scan. You kind of like take a few steps back on the stairs to get a better view. And you do notice that there's a path. Give me one. Where's my. You could cut across, essentially. You know, obviously, don't dive in the water, but.
But what
Don't
if
trust
we
the
want
water.
to?
We did that once, and we summoned a kraken.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. So that way across the boardwalk stuff was a shortcut.
Yeah, so essentially, like, instead of, like, following the entire path of the ride, you could pretty much figure out, like, that this was more designed for a way for cast members to get through quickly. And would probably be the path of least resistance as far as, like, maybe you would avoid some stuff. Maybe, you know, because this is kind of canonical that it's like check and see what the villains are up to. And if you miss most of the ride or walkthrough with the weird stuff that the animatronics have been doing all night, yeah, you might miss, you know.
So Gray is gonna like repeat over and over, trust the process. And then realizing that his process is just guessing, he's gonna vaguely wave in that direction and go, we go that way.
If you say so, Dominic.
Guessing with confidence.
Who wants to go behind Dominic? Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and just say, for expedience sake, you're able to kind of like make your way through, getting to like here, where I'm pinging. Whee! Fast travel. No.
Whee!
Fast travel unlocked.
Yeah. And as you kind of come through, you see that this was supposed to be like the last room. And you actually see, this, person, like this animatronic, and the room's kind of dark, and you notice like a bunch of cobwebs and stuff that you kind of all had to like push your way through. But you notice in this last room that there's an animatronic of this like undead semi-skeletal, but it has like some muscle and yeah, like part of its face, like the muscle still kind of clings to it, and it's still clinging to some of the body, but it's partially skeletal. And he's sort of standing above this giant gray cauldron. And the cauldron, you know, this ride hasn't been in use, but the cauldron is kind of bubbling up that blue of the various crystals. And as you sort of walk in, the animatronic that's supposed to, you know, you two who would know about the ride, this is supposed to be the Jagged Emperor, which was a character from a movie that didn't fare so well. It came out like a few years after the death of Emlyn Druitt. And yeah, the movie didn't do so well. It was kind of a bit too macabre for the brand, which is funny considering everything that's happened tonight. But yeah, and it kind of
Very
like
on brand.
yeah, it was kind of a flop. And as you sort of like walk and you see like these different like skeletal like these different like piles of like fake bodies. A few of them like are wriggling. Because that's how the animatronics were built, and you actually notice that the animatronic, its eyes start to glow that bright blue, and it sort of looks at you, turning its head, the horns sort of like going back and like sort of glowing in that blue light, and it's just staring.
Well, you guys know about this, right? What do we do in this? What do we do here?
I would like to note that I know what fire is and the word burn.
Yeah, there is an exit. The exit's not being blocked off or anything. But this animatronic of the Jagged Emperor is sort of staring at you.
I just want to like assess the room, like look around, look at the cauldron, like kind of peer into the cauldron a little, and find out what all this is. Maybe pull out my tablet and see if there's any like additional information on the internet about this ride, before it was closed.
Or like, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, could also like look up like about the Jagged Emperor as well.
Yeah. Or like do a Google search Jagged Emperor plus cauldron.
Yeah. So basically, the Jagged Emperor essentially obtained this cauldron and was in the process. Basically, like the story goes, there was this guy. He owned a pet goose, and the goose, it turns out, could locate objects that were supposed to be hidden. And the Jagged Emperor was supposed to be like this ominous villain. And he essentially like the goose. It basically, he like kidnaps the boy, kidnaps the goose, and it like forces them to tell him the location of the cauldron. They get the and the story goes is basically the cauldron was essentially supposed to raise an army of people who were sacrificed directly to the cauldron. So he was kind of like a conqueror and was going around killing a bunch of people. Sorry, I just read instead of the golden goose, it's the beholden
Was the goose that was kidnapped Gilbert Goose by any chance?
No, you could tell that the design was like loosely based off of Gilbert Goose, but this is supposed to be like a different character. They just both happen to be geese.
It was Gilbert's cousin, who after the movie was never spoken about ever again.
Yeah, the movie did so badly. It's one of those that they like to pretend it doesn't exist. But for some reason, they just thought it was creepy enough to have this person, this Jagged Emperor, like be the end scary person. But when you're kind of like, you do notice that his eyes seem to follow and track all of you, but he's not stopping you from leaving, as far as you know. He's just staring.
I would like to use that move.
Yeah.
Because I might be able to turn this to our advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it, but I might.
I'm guessing that's your know the fire is in the word breaker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I get 1.
Yeah.
Which I have to go back to my character sheet, not the actual stream.
Just suddenly in the Twitch chat is like /R 2d6.
So the question I'm going to ask is, how can I use this to help my situation? Do I get a feeling of maybe they have animosity towards Rosie, or maybe they could just be bargained with to let us by without causing any kind of problem in the future?
You get the feeling that if you were to try to keep going, then he might do something to stop you. However, if you give something to feed the cauldron, he may let you proceed without any issue.
I still have that piece of flesh that we took off of Cinder.
Oh, oh! I didn't realize you actually kept that.
I never threw it away, so.
Oh.
When the GM comes to the sudden realization that one of the players has been carrying a piece of flesh with them, okay.
Is it which is better, keeping a piece of flesh on you or keeping a piece of a toe bone?
I keep getting players that like to keep body parts on them. Anyway.
I mean, we didn't keep the heart. We could have kept the heart.
No.
Yeah, we could have kept the heart.
We could have kept the head.
Why didn't we keep the heart?
We almost took the head with us.
We almost put the head in your backpack.
Yeah, I almost took the. I'm not gonna repeat. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not going to.
I mean,
Alright.
I feel if we did put the head in the cauldron, it would have solved both their problems.
I mean, yeah, but you do have a piece of flesh, so what would you like to do?
I will walk up to the cauldron and put the piece of flesh in there.
Okay.
And I'll look up and I'm like, is this enough payment?
It sort of turns to you, and as the piece of flesh sort of hits the cauldron, you notice that the bubbling smoke that was over actually shoots up into a pillar, and all of you just sort of hear the shrieks of thousands in agony. And then it subsides.
Just under my breath, I really hope that didn't belong to my sister.
And, oh no.
Oh no.
And you watch as the animatronic sort of, its head sort of rolls and then goes back into its chest and the eyes close and like cobwebs sort of just build as if it hasn't moved in decades.
I'm gonna look back at them with like a very blank expression on my face and be like, so I think I'm getting the hang of this.
I
And
am a bit concerned of how you're getting the hang of this.
The fact that I am getting the hang of this frightens me. So should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. How
Seems like
did
a
you
wise
even
idea.
figure out that could have worked?
Well, it's all logic if you think about it for a minute.
Explain.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wonderful. So you're able to go ahead and continue if that's what you wish to do.
That's gonna sit with me for a while. Yeah, let's continue before this gets worse. It's gonna get worse, isn't it?
I mean, there were
Probably.
just a few thousand shrieks that just like echoed through the chambers for a few moments. I'm sure nothing bad'll come of that.
On like a random note, and I'm sorry for shiny objects, like the way that Rain said no just reminded me of when like a friend of like mine in college was like talking about like going to a thing. And so like another one of my friends was like, "Oh, hey, tell us how it goes." And then like the other friend just like stared at her and just in a very serious tone went, "No."
Oh, wonderful. So, I love that. Okay, so you all start to head towards the corridor, and you see the exit, but you also see what looks to be like a panel of the wall that has been like slid to the side as if it was like a hidden door that leads, and you see it's basically like a dark tunnel, but at the end you see light. So you have the end of the ride on one hand, and then you have the dark tunnel on the other. But at least there's light at the end of the tunnel. Do you want to go
Somehow
towards
that
the light?
terrifies me more.
Hmm. Uh. Hmm.
It seems like we've gone through all the effort to get down here, and we're trapped down here unless we go through this exit. But
I just want to note that if we do go back, I don't have another piece of flesh to give him.
Yeah,
very
that's
true.
so. Either we go down the tunnel, or we're going to go to.
What's supposed to be the exit, but the ride's been shut down for decades, so
It might not even be an exit anyway. I say we follow this unusual tunnel.
some might call it a plot path.
Come through
Yeah,
a secret entrance in the fountain, and there's another secret entrance. It seems like that's where we're supposed to go.
yeah, probably. Especially since like it seems to have been like. Does it look like it's been recently opened, Kay?
I mean, there are no cobwebs around it.
I mean, it's possible it was just open, so it's possible that this will lead us to where we're supposed to go. So, yeah.
And there's a light.
And there's light. There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Again, with the why are you bringing up? That's not a good thing. If we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, that's usually a bad indicator.
I don't know what I talk about.
Go towards the light.
Always go towards the light.
Shut up, Crab.
Listen, it's like in Wreck-It Ralph. Listen, it's like in Fix-It Felix, where the bug monster went towards the light and wait.
No, that's called Repair It Roger in this world.
Repair It Roger. It's like in Repair It Roger, where the bug robot went towards the light and then he wait. On second thought, maybe sometimes you don't need to follow the light.
All right, so I'm guessing y'all choose the totally not plot path.
We
Yeah.
followed the plot. So no adventuring party ever.
Yeah, right. This is weird for me. People following the plot say what? No. All right, so that's going to move us all over here. And just ignore like most of the map because you see nothing. You come out at the end of the tunnel and it basically leads you to this entryway here. And everything is like got that like it's really, really well lit with those like old fluorescent bulbs that just make people feel uncomfortable. And you see a hallway. And you totally don't see the rest of the map. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I can't find me.
Oh
We're
no.
not on there yet.
We lost Dominic.
You should be able to just go to your journal, drag the token from your character sheet thing. I mean, it's not super important if you're just like, I don't want to bug with it. But...
I got it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you see just a long, narrow hallway. Everything is like got that really uncomfortable fluorescent lighting.
It was aliens all along.
I don't think it's aliens. Actually, you know what? Considering what we've seen, I wouldn't rule out aliens. You know what? Never mind. Aliens is on table.
Just in the back of my head, I go, well, no, I'm not going to say that because that'll spoil a movie for everybody.
All right, so what do?
We've made it this far. Might as well keep going.
Yeah.
You have the one hallway.
Yeah, it's a very narrow hallway, so you kind of have to go single file. But as you sort of go down the hall, you see, like, doors on the left-hand side.
Have you ever seen Clue?
Yes, it's an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
That scene when they're going up in the attic and neither one of them wants to go first, so they're just crowding each other on the stairs.
Yeah.
That's how I imagine us going down the hallway.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, so, you see a door on your left.
Do we want to go down this door?
It'd be worth checking all of the doors.
Hmm. Fair enough. Who wants to open it then? Because I don't. Nose goes.
So I'll open the door and just poke my head through and be very prepared to jerk back and shut it.
Okay, so as you open the door, you notice like a line of thick, just wires kind of all bundled together, sort of leading towards the room. And as you peer your head and you're like, what is it? What are these wires leading to? And you see like this machine, and from what looks similar to a meat hook, you actually see the figure of Gilbert Goose just sort of hanging lifelessly.
Oh.
His wings are kind of like falling down, but he's, dressed to the nines as Gilbert Goose is. Full tux, rosy cheeks, looking as angry as ever, but currently unconscious.
I'm going to partially close the door and just stand there and think for a moment, and then turn around. Have you ever played 6 Days at Eddie's?
Once when I was in a very bad place. Why?
This is reminding me very much of it.
Oh.
Do you remember how to win?
You don't really win, you just die less often each time.
That's
Oh God, the radio person dies in the first game.
You'll be fine, Kevin. You'll be totally fine.
I feel like if this was a horror movie, I'd be the first to die. And now you're telling me this is like 6 days at Denny's.
Okay, but keep in mind that we've almost died multiple times and you weren't the first one.
You know what, that's fair.
I mean, the Kraken went for me, and as did the vampire lady.
Mm.
You know what? Thinking about it, a lot of them have gone for me. Why don't one of you go first this time?
I'll take the lead on this one. I feel like as a character actor, I should have a little bit of sway with any figures that we find.
Or at least
If
better
an-
training at lying.
If anything, you got the most longevity.
It's true.
You would be the one that they would be like, join us, and together we shall rule over the dark side.
Quit looking at my notes. Anyway. Okay, so with Marguerite taking the lead, do you all continue down the hall?
When the game master's distracted looking at their notes and you hear typing, that means that you just gave them a better idea than what they had.
Me during my game.
Oh my goodness. All right.
I'll keep going forward.
All right. So as you go forward, you see a second door to your left.
Open.
All right. So opening this door, you see a very similar scene. Lots of wires. You notice like the glowing, and Dominic, you noticed this in the last room too. There's like a bunch of machines, and oddly, there's those glowing crystals, but they don't look fake. They look very realistic. And instead, in this room of seeing Gilbert, you see Casey.
Is she also on a meat hook?
They are.
Sorry, Day.
No, you're okay. They are also on a meat hook. Not currently doing anything. They're just sort of hanging there, and you see the little tongue just. And the tongue looks moist.
I'm gonna
Oh
close
no,
the
they're
door
doing a
quietly.
clap.
Do we... These wires, should we unplug them? Should we break the crystals? Like...
I don't know. It doesn't look like the wires are connected.
They're
Do we have a
connecting
way to cut
directly
them?
to the different, up the machine to the hook that's holding.
Alternatively, maybe unplugging it will turn them on, and we don't want that. So...
No, we could do. Because I get the feeling that eventually we're going to have to go buy one of these. We could have one person standing by at the wires by the door, or two people, depending on how brave everybody is. And one or two people could walk past them. If nothing happens, we leave the wires alone. If they move, we pull the wires.
could do that. I think maybe one person should stay by the wires and two should go.
Makes sense.
You want to try that at this door? Or do you want to go backwards?
Well,
If you peer down the hall, you do see another door.
Forwards.
Let's
Forwards.
look at the other door and see if there's anything in there. And if there's not, then we can go through that door.
I'm zoomed way the
Okay,
hell in so I don't see things.
I'll go in front this time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you guys went to the other two doors. I should go to next door. It's only
Okay.
fair.
Okay, so you all make your way, and you notice that this door is actually locked.
Oh. Is there any obvious key or anything? Keyhole or anything?
There's a keyhole, yeah.
Hmm.
And it looks kind of like one of those like old-timey keyholes, which is very
Oh.
odd considering how high-tech everything in here seems, except for the crystals. Those seem a bit more less tech and more arcane.
So this door seems to be locked. I have a feeling we need to go back to actually find a key. Unless one of you happen to have like an old-timey key.
Why does old timey key ring a bell? Did we find that somewhere?
I mean, the palace was old-timey, the haunted palace was a bit old-timey, and they had some similar designs. Kevin, you're in maintenance, aren't you?
Yeah.
You guys could either go look for a key, or if there's something that you think you could potentially do.
Hmm.
We take the other warped weapon with the one with the warped metal and try to break that off and turn it into a lockpick instead of break it in half and have one part be like on the bottom to hold it and the other to like wiggle in.
Could do that. And also, I'm wondering, does the door itself seem like it could be like computer-esque or machine-esque, or is it just like
I mean, it's a door. I mean, it's probably like it looks to be made of some sort of steel. So it's a bit more modern, but
okay.
it does have an old-timey looking keyhole.
So maybe Star's idea would be better. I was thinking of using "Tell the computer you want to live," but I don't think I can justify it.
No, I wouldn't say so in this instance.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to try to make Marguerite's idea work?
Yeah. What can I use?
I'd probably say make a bare necessity, since you're trying to
Yeah.
like improvise.
Mm.
Can I help a friend get unstuck?
Sure.
Oh.
It's roll plus
Pal.
pal, I think.
Yep, roll plus pal.
There we go.
Nice.
Yes.
That's +2.
Okay. So
Nice.
you would do your roll plus wise plus 2.
Okay. So 12.
Okay. So how exactly are you trying to like make this into like a tool to work? I mean, it's gonna work, but are you trying to like? Yeah. Just give me description.
So using some of the tools that Kevin does have on hand, and by looking at the lock and trying to make guesstimations of how a key would work, in it, like how like the little mechanisms in the lock. He tries to twist the metal so that it could fit into the lock and also be able to do the thing of clicking and just getting it to work basically. And I imagine this takes him like a few minutes because that's pretty hard to do. And by a miracle, he's able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it probably doesn't take as long as you're thinking because you did roll really well. So, like, Kevin is, like, probably thinking, oh, yeah, this is going to take forever. Probably, like, you know, at least 15 minutes, but it takes you, like, half the time. And you're able to kind of finagle it, and you hear the door kind of click to open.
Turns out Kevin is a rogue.
When the artificer takes levels in rogue.
Yeah.
Hmm. Honestly, I was half expecting that to work. But you know what? It works.
I knew you could do it.
Oh, thanks.
I thought you could do it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And yeah, Kevin will slowly open the door and peek his head in while being ready to close it if anything tries to run at him screaming.
Yeah. So you open the door and you see a very similar scene, and you kind of have to like peer around. You see the same kind of mock up, but you see the wires kind of leading to a slightly different corner. And in this corner, you actually see Ruby, Rosie's girlfriend. And you also see a small, like a really narrow door over here.
Okay, so Kevin's gonna slowly close the door and then just look back and be like, okay, same scene. Seems like all of Rosie's friends are strung up tonight. And there's a door in there. Did you guys see a door in like the other rooms?
Not that I noticed.
Hmm.
Not that there weren't ones, I just didn't actually look that hard.
Oh. Well,
This door was locked, so I feel like whatever they're trying to hide is going to be behind here.
mm-hmm. Or it's like a very special room because, you know, girlfriend of the face of the park.
Very true.
Special treatment.
I mean, no matter which direction we go, it seems like a very high-strung place.
Hmm. Oh, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Well, do we want to go through the plan? One person stay back and pull out the wires in case something happens, and then the other two try to walk past?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who wants to stay by the wire? Who's gonna stay by the wires and who's gonna try to walk past?
Well, I was thinking whoever stays by the wires could potentially go up to the crystal and smash that if we need to do that too.
Hmm.
So, whoever, I mean, I could tase it, I guess.
I mean, I got my halberd.
True. Well, we just.
Or I could give one of you guys the halberd to borrow for smashing.
That's true.
Not a whole lot here that looks flammable. All I'm saying.
Hmm. Do you want to smash something and get a lot of aggression out?
I mean, I can try this. Says the gangly one.
I think, Kevin, you stick with your halberd. You stay here. I don't. Well, you are the guest, so maybe you should decide.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin's maintenance, and if nothing else, if something goes wrong, Kevin has the best chance of working with machines or breaking machines. But at the same time, if something goes wrong, Kevin's also the first one through the door, and that door locks.
I give you my word that I am not going to abandon you guys here, if that's what you're worried about.
Well, that is appreciated. You know,
My brain just went insight check.
You want to put an insight check on Kevin?
I swear I won't abandon you. Wait.
Sorry, I misread that.
All right, so
Okay.
who's going in and who is staying?
I will go in.
Yeah, I'll go in.
I
Do you
guess
want to
Kevin
try
is.
to protect us ahead of time?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
can I also try to inspire my friends again?
Yeah. So let's have Marguerite roll her thing.
Fill the world with sunshine.
Yeah, roll that. Fill
Mhm.
the world with sunshine, and Kevin, I believe that's hold your banner high for you.
Yep.
So let's get him.
Okay. Nine. So we will get a magical aura for +1 armor for the next minute.
Yeah. So you all have like kind of like
Yay.
shimmery aura. So that's +1 armor. So just make a note of that. And Kevin, do you roll the banner high? Hold your banner high. 8.
It actually worked.
Finally.
Finally.
So you get anybody within the sound of your voice gets +1 forward. Anything you say to encourage them, or
Kevin's gonna look at the group and looks like he's about to go on like his spiel of trying to give like encouraging words, and then like he seems like he's thinking real hard, but then eventually just shakes his head, just smiles, and goes, "Good luck, don't die."
Knowing that this might be difficult, also, can I try to paint with colors of the wind to inspire Gray a little bit extra?
yeah, sure, I'll allow because this will give you like time to. You haven't walked in, so
Yeah. Okay. I just don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great.
Oh.
I want to know where you get all these one-liners. They're brilliant.
Quote of the day.
Crate has a slightly frightened, intimidated, exasperated, yet also encouraged look on their face.
Full mix
Or
of
+1
emotions.
experience.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, so go ahead and mark that as well.
I get a new move.
Wow, look at y'all
Yeah.
collecting moves today.
Look
All
at
right.
us needing them.
We gotta collect the moves somehow.
So, just to kind of move things along, Dominic and after all this preparation, both Marguerite and Dominic walk in. Are you walking towards the door, or are you just kind of like walking past, making funny faces?
I kind of want to shimmy through as far away from her as I can get of them as I can get.
Oh wow! Thanks for the raid, other doc.
Thank you. And try to reach the door, but on my way, I just want to take a quick glance and see what's on the computer screens.
Looks like, there's like a few arcane, like magic circle-esque, things. There's like this wall on another screen. There's like a wall of just like text ones and zeros, sort of like kind of matrix scrolling across the screen. And you also see like what looks to be vitals on another screen, but everything's kind of flat. But occasionally you see like an occasional like spike, as if there's like some life there.
So Dominic doesn't understand any of that, so he's going to go cross-eyed, and then he's going to keep walking towards the door.
Okay.
Oh, that's the wrong button.
Awesome. So you walk towards the door. Marguerite, is there anything you're doing as you're walking by?
I'm gonna just walk by quietly, trying not to like garner attention. But like reflect on the princess code and try to remember everything I can about Ruby and Rosie.
Yeah, Ruby and Rosie, they were, they're basically like, to put it this way, they're essentially like this world's version of Mickey and Minnie. They're Roby.
Roby. Their fusion.
That's their ship name. That a few of the fandom gave. But Rosie and Ruby, they were like, one of those. They've always been a thing. Both of them make this super cute couple. And kind of play into these different roles. Ruby's always there to support Rosie in whatever tasks she's trying to, complete, and Team Roby all the way. Yeah. So they're just, they're that iconic, cute couple.
They're also like gay icons as well.
Absolutely.
And so far, they haven't moved at all.
No. Ruby has not done anything.
Okay,
She's
Kevin, I
just
think
hanging
it's
from the
safe.
hook.
I'm gonna pull my taser out just in case.
Okay, do you still want me to try smashing crystals or anything?
Only if she starts to move.
Okay. So, and Kevin's gonna take the halberd and just be like in a guard position as he slowly walks across the room.
I'm gonna stand defensively in front of Gray before they try to open the door, just in case Ruby makes like a go for us.
Okay. So Dominic, are you going for the door?
Yeah, let's see if I can open the door.
It is not locked. It opens without any issue. And Ruby has not moved.
Quickly.
Quickly.
Kevin, since you're the last one to kind of follow in, you do notice that like she hasn't really moved. Like she's not really like conscious. You just notice that like an ear slightly twitches as if in whatever unconscious state that she's in, she heard something, but it's more of like maybe she's dreaming, maybe she heard you. You don't know, but she's not making a move, and she's very much suspended from that hook. So you're fine.
Oh. So Kevin's gonna go and he's gonna slowly close the door behind him and just look to the party like, guys, I saw her ear twitch.
Remind me, if we get out of this, to never again use the phrase hangout.
Remind me to never play 6 Days at Denny's again.
So as you all enter this room, you actually find yourselves in a small kitchenette of sorts. There's a fridge here, a stove here, a sink here with, it's just a normal kitchenette. Though it's,
Is this like how they got inspired to make My Duet's kitchen? The legally distinct My Disney kitchen.
Yeah, it's
The game
just,
This is less a kitchen and more of a not quite camping, not quite hotel room.
yeah, it's very basic. I mean, and if any of you like peer in the cabinets, it's like, a lot of perishable goods. You notice some rations. You notice some cans. If one of you opens the fridge, you do notice that there's there's milk and a few other things, but it's like very, very basic.
What is the expiry date on like the milk and like the canned food stuff?
I mean, they're all fresh. They're not The rations seem to be a little bit old and probably expire within like the next year or so. But I mean, rations last for a long time.
Well, I
so.
mean, that's their rations. This stuff seems fresh. Like, it isn't old or anything. Well, rations, but like, it isn't like this milk is expired decades ago or anything. It's like
Here's a
someone's been
question.
living here
Is
almost.
there a first aid kit in that
Hmm.
bathroom?
Yeah. I would say there's a basic first aid kit. Yeah.
Okay, is anybody other than me hurt?
I don't think so.
Let me see if this works on me then.
I'm not hurt.
Basically, this first aid kit cover harm. Yeah, so I'm going to use "you help them, yes you do" to try to heal the harm that was done to me,
Okay.
which is
I'd say with it, like with the help of like this being a first aid kit, give yourself a +1 forward on it.
well, this is specifically for using a first aid kit.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was also going to suggest like maybe someone could roll help a friend get unstuck to like
I
help.
mean, it's up to you. Yeah.
I mean, I'm always open to help.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to help with the bandages and stuff, feel free.
I feel like Marguerite was supposed to go to like first aid and CPR training as part of like everybody who works here is supposed to have that, but like it's expired by now and like they don't remember anything they learned.
That's fine.
While in maintenance, they are putting bandages over the wound that probably requires stitches.
Yeah, so I'll say just since we are getting close, go ahead, Kevin, give me that help a friend get unstuck. Yeah, give me that roll.
Nice.
Wow.
That's,
So
I know first aid.
that means you'll get a +2 forward.
nice.
That's an 11. Cool.
That is. So yeah, that'll heal the harm that I have.
Awesome.
Nice.
So you managed to patch yourself up. You're cleaning yourself up. While this is happening, Marguerite, you do hear like the clicking of keys coming from the next room over.
Is that somebody's typing?
Could be whoever it is. Is that, I guess, like this seems like a living area. It seems like someone's living here. It could be whoever's. Well, wait. And Kevin just thinks. We saw Gilbert. We saw Kathy. We saw Ruby. Why do I have a feeling we're going to see Rosie in that next room? Like either we're gonna see her on a meat hook.
I don't think we're gonna see her on a meat hook.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
I'm just gonna peek through.
Everyone just peeks through.
It's the classic Scooby-Doo stacked heads moment.
Yeah, so you all peek through, and you don't see Rosie, but you do see someone who is supposed to have been dead for the last 50 years. You see Emlyn Druitt, sitting at, a massive screen of computers just sort of typing away. And she doesn't seem to have noticed you all.
I would like to, because the armor is probably worn off by now, so I would like to gather my new friends together and come in for a group hug and try to use my fill the world with sunshine again.
Go for it.
Okay, we get +1 armor for the next minute.
I wonder, before we do anything else, would I be able to do a find something that wasn't there before by just like peeking in and looking around as like a precaution before walking in?
I mean, you could, but you don't know what else is in there or who else is in there. So
Yeah, that's true.
you can.
Oh,
You just might. I'm going to say if you want to do that, go for it.
I'll save it.
Okay.
I'm gonna look back at them. Go, okay. So we snuck in this far, got past all the hazards. If we can just sneak a little bit more, I'm gonna trip and fall through the door.
Oh god.
I immediately pull my taser out just to be ready.
As you, Dominic, fall through the door, you look, and Emlyn seems to like barely give you any mind. She just sort of like goes, "Huh, Rosie, there's some kind of noise here or something. Could you look at this? I gotta get this." And from the corner of the room, you see a very tall. She stands probably about 10 feet or so. Rosie. Rosie the rabbit, complete with her little bandana, her bow tie, her full, like, you know, pantsuit. And she just sort of crosses her arms and she goes, "Ha! Well, isn't that something? Hello there. We weren't expecting any company yet. Did you get lost?"
Oh, not yet. Oh no, the park makes no mistakes. We're exactly where we belong.
Oh. You're one of those princess types.
A
That
Fantasia.
sounded more like an insult than it probably should have.
Yeah.
There's someone else with you. What is your name again? Oh, wait, I know. You are Kevin, and you are Marguerite.
From the floor, I'm just like, hi, I'm Gray.
Yeah. Uh, nice to meet you,
You're supposed to
ma'am?
join the family soon. Though you're kind of invading my space right now. And Emlyn has to get to work because we really gotta get this done in the next, say, 5 minutes or so.
Yes,
Hate to interrupt the great Emlyn.
yeah,
What is on the computer screens?
is that actually like her, like actual in flesh Emlyn DeWitt, like actual?
Emlyn's sort of gonna kind of crawl over or call over her shoulder. Yeah, about that. Rosie came to life and found some way to bring me back and needed my help in helping her rise to power. And of course, I couldn't deny my own creation. And then goes back to typing. On the computer screen, you notice a bunch of gibberish, but on one of the corners, you do see one of the corner monitors. You see like a camera split to rooms that just have dozens upon dozens of body bags, all sort of hooked up to these wires, and the wires sort of like lead out of the rooms.
Oh my.
Well, this was fun and all, and I love my job. I really do. But, I can't have this. This goes beyond what I promised to the guests under the Princess Code. And I want to take my taser and, like, jam it in the, like, computer, like, box and try to, like,
The actual
break
computer
it.
portion.
Yeah. Not the monitor, the...
Yeah. For that, I would say that would fall for you unless you have a different move. I would say probably break some femurs because you're
That's
trying
wicked,
to
right?
Yeah, roll plus wicked.
Hmm.
10.
Oh, nice. I was gonna ask if like Kevin could help with the halberd, but you got it.
Okay. I mean it. There's and you're doing this against the computer itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you get two things. You can either inflict terrible harm, which would be 2 harm total. You can do you suffer less harm. It's all in the list there.
Um. Break some femurs. You suffer less harm. Oh, you physically force them where you want them?
Mm-hmm. But keep in mind you're attacking the computer, so you're attacking an object.
Right.
So keep that in mind.
I'll inflict terrible harm. This is endgame. I'm okay if I get hurt. I mean, I'm electrocuting an electrical item. I'm probably gonna get hurt. It's fine.
Okay, so I will say that it does work, but you are basically putting like a taser up to electricity, so you feel like a shot go up your arm, but you're able to kind of pull away at the last second, and all of you sort of watch as the computer monitors sort of start to flicker and flash, and suddenly all crash, and Emlyn just sort of looks, and she's typing. She's still continuing to type, almost as if she's like entranced by this, and you just hear Rosie say, just sort of shout, "No! No! You ruined it! You ruined it all! They were supposed to feel my friends, and that was the only way I could stay here, but maybe I could stay a little longer. You are not what you appear to be." And she's gonna walk over to you, Dominic, and sort of like lift you off the floor.
Can I pull a Hail Mary?
Sure.
Because she looks like a suit, right? She looks like her what her suit would look like, right?
Yeah.
So this technically isn't how the move works, but I want to use well, I'll wait until after that. First thing I'm gonna do is take out my lighter and look back at them and go, run, and just stick my lighter directly into her face.
Do you think Kevin could possibly help with that by just trying to use the helper to kind of jab at her?
Yeah, roll. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I guess that would be a break some femurs as well if you're trying to like jab Rosie.
Hmm. So,
Unless you have a move to justify.
nah, I think it would be like just to break some femurs. So,
Give me that roll.
where is the thing? Where's the thing?
You can
Plus
just do
wicked.
/R 2d6 plus wicked.
Okay. So yeah, it's gonna be at like a -1, but oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah, you say
We
run,
saved
and
it.
Kevin is just like
Olympic throwing of the spear.
nah, he's like going full on stabbing it, and then just kind of looks at Dominic like, I told you we were getting up. I told you I wasn't gonna abandon you here.
Okay. So here's what happens. Basically, Marguerite, do you do anything to try to help with this onslaught against Rosie?
Well, it could. I mean, it's probably going to hurt them, right?
Yeah.
I will use my new move, which allows me to remove the strings that hold me down. Once a day, wish upon a star, and I want to wish to negate all harm that they could incur by attacking her.
Okay. Cool. Do you have to roll for that or no?
Nope, it's just the move, and then I don't
Sweet.
get Twinkle for that one wish, and
Nice. Okay, so you do that, and you happen to kind of cast that right as she's brought Dominic's like face into hers and is about to like bite him, like just bite his face, with these long, jagged rows of teeth that sort of open up, and Kevin very quickly stabs Rosie. Dominic, I think you still needed to roll with your lighter to attack.
Yeah.
So give me that roll. I just want to see how this goes.
Oh no!
We ruined all the last good rolls.
Okay, so let me just double check here. But you did have a negate harm, so normally she would have like bitten you, but that sort of like shield kind of bursts forth and sort of protects you at just the last moment, and you feel like a kind of clang and you sort of open your eyes and you see the rows of teeth. I will say for this, since you did kind of like super fail, probably just a shock. You know, this is scary. Scary bunny with rows of teeth is scary. But you don't actually incur any harm. Because she would have actually rolled great harm, so I think you would have been good there because you did have armor as well. So that would have totally negated that. And basically, so between everything, Rosie sort of drops you. And she looks like she's about to lurch forth. But you just sort of kind of, you hear Emlyn sort of call and just say, Rosie, it's over. Just, we'll try again some other time. Just let them go. And Rosie goes, but they were supposed to join the family. They were supposed to be on my side, and they hurt me, and I don't like it. And Emmeline just sort of like turns around and she just looks at all of you and she goes, go now, before it gets worse. And just for narrative purposes, since it is about that time, I'm gonna kind of wrap things up here. So you all sort of like manage to escape. You make your way down. You make your way out, and just as you sort of finally you hear the castle kind of shaking. You hear things breaking. You make your way back through, and you manage to escape, getting back up to the theme park. And basically manage to find an exit, and you sort of like get through the fountain exit at the last moment, just as the sun shines kind of breaking, and you watch as you step out, the fountain sort of like falls, crumbling beneath you. You see the park. You keep running out as the park is like crumbling behind you, and as everybody reaches the gates, Marguerite and Kevin, you are able to make it out, but Dominic, you try to escape, but something's not letting you leave, and you look down at your hands, and you can see through them, and you have a sudden memory. You can't leave. You remember going to try to find your sister, and something in the dark grabbed you, and you never managed to make it away. Marguerite and Kevin, you look back and you see Dominic fading.
Dominic is going to look at them
Dominic?
with super wide eyes and just rip off his camera and throw it at Kevin.
Kevin's gonna catch it and then quickly like take a picture of Dominic. Actually, would this star still be there, Kay?
The star?
On the castle,
The wish
the, like
upon a
the
star.
wishing
Yeah.
star.
It's flickering, but it's still there.
Hmm. It will get like one twinkle, but could Kevin try to wish on that star to please let Dominic leave?
Yeah.
He basically just like stares up at Death Star and is like, please, please, I'll do anything. Just he didn't whatever's happening, he and his sister didn't deserve it. Let them go.
Dominic, you don't feel that your sister's at the park, but you do feel the pull, like whatever is pulling you back, does seem to subside. Kevin, you basically a beam falls because the park is essentially falling around all of you, um, and you get hit in the head with one of the falling beams, so you suffer one harm from that. Dominic, you are still fading, but you don't feel like you're tied to the park anymore.
That's just gonna make him smile, and he's gonna look at both of them and say, "Tell her I made it out." Right before he fades away.
Oh.
Yeah, Kevin just smiles and is like, well, at least he's not stuck there.
All right. So, Kevin, Marguerite, anything you want to say or do before we conclude? The park is falling around you, but you did make it out.
I will make one. Well, I'll let Kevin go first.
Kevin just kind of looks at Marguerite and is like, okay. My apartment is like about an hour. It's about an hour away. We could try to run to catch a bus and get there. No, I usually like come home at around this hour sometimes. Like no one will think anything of it. We can like hide out there if you want while we try to figure out what to do next.
You go ahead. I'm gonna do one last thing.
I'm gonna stick right here. I am not going to turn around and then turn back and watch you away as well.
I would like to make one final wish and bring myself to Three Twinkle and say, I will gladly return all of my princess powers to prevent this park from coming into being ever again. I know that's a big wish, but
Oof. Okay. You said from this part. Okay. So the wish is granted. I will say for a wish of this size, you will suffer 2 harm. And you just sort of like feel as the powers sort of drain from you, and you just feel like your head's about to explode, but you're okay. But you do suffer 2 harm for that, and you do manage to, but the park, you know, it's still crumbling, and your wish, hopefully has been granted. And just to kind of conclude, so as everything, the wish has been granted, the group, the 2 remaining of the group do manage to make it out okay. However, about a year later, while Marguerite's wish was granted, Druid's Dream World will never be a park again. However, in California, there was a recent announcement for the construction of Druid's Dreamland. And that is where we will leave.
God damn it, California!
And that is where we will go ahead and wrap. I have been Undead K. Let's go ahead and really quickly have our players just bid a farewell. This has been a lot of fun. Let's start with you, Star, this time. Who are you? Who have you been playing?
I'm Star. I've been playing Marguerite. Follow me on Twitter at MadRadStarChild, and I'll post about my next stream.
Awesome. And Rain.
I am Rain Hayes. I was playing Dominic Gray, who had many secrets. And I don't have anything else going on right now, so just look at my stuff on DM's Guild and I'll be happy.
All right, wonderful. And finally, tired by. Who are you? Who've you been playing?
Hi, I am a tired by. I was playing as Kevin Merlo, who will always look after Dominic's camera and make sure it's in good condition. And I'm sure he would have been a like for that year, he would have been able to study over that entire thing.
Yeah. Awesome. And I have been Kay, also known as Undead Kay. You can find me here from time to time doing things. You can also find me on my own channel doing things. If you go to my Twitter, you can get details there. And you, yeah, Nerds with Dice, real fast, does have merchandise that you can buy on their website. By following the link that I just put in chat. You can also, they are also, well, we are also uh, affiliated with the Grinding Coffee Company, a Black and LGBTQ plus owned coffee company. And if you use the link provided in the chat, you can actually get 10% off by using the code Nerds with Dice. It has been my absolute pleasure running this game, and thank you so much. I'm going to try to raid, I believe Devil's Luck Gaming is playing. So we're going to try to do that. Okay, it said it didn't give me permission. Well, if you're interested and you keep want to watch Tabletop Gaming, Devil's Luck is currently playing their great channel, so I definitely recommend. But everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and until next time, bye.
Bye.